Hello again, back again, second time today. But I've got news for you, and it has been covered somewhat in the American press, the USA press, and a little bit in the British press. But are the facts coming out? And I'm talking about the deadliest air disaster in the USA since 2001. And the first crash of an American airliner in nearly 15 years. The DC plane crash with the Black Hawk helicopter is what I'm talking about. And it's been investigated, and some of the results that are coming out, they're horrifying. Even the New York Times is reporting that the DEI era pilot has told multiple times to shift altitude and course, and she refused to do so. DEI, Diversity, Equity and Inclusion era pilot, appointed by President Biden, of course. Now, 70 plus innocent people are dead due to this error, deliberation. The idea is still out for conclusion. The story of the January DC plane crash hides its takeaway until the last sentence. This is in the Times. The lady helicopter pilot ignored multiple warnings from her warrant officer sitting in the right seat next to her about the altitude, and he's directly telling her to turn away. But she flew straight into the passenger jet. Wouldn't listen. She knew best. CBS News, they said the military Black Hawk helicopter that crashed into the passenger plane near Reagan National Airport on Wednesday appears to have been flying above the permitted altitude. Publicly available flight data analysed by the CBS News shows the passenger airliner 5342 was its marking, was heading for runway 33. The data point is one of several key mysteries the investigators are exploring as they seek to explain what caused the nation's worst air disaster in more than a decade. Aviation experts said. That's a $64 million question that needs to be answered, said Greg Feith, the former senior air safety investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board, in an interview with CBS News. The permitted flight ceiling of the Potomac River near Reagan National Airport is 200 feet. A crucial ceiling for keeping heavy flow of military helicopters safely clear of the commercial aircraft traffic in and out of the nation's capital. So, helicopters, the Black Hawk helicopter, the Black Hawk helicopter should not go above 200 feet above the river Potomac. Data of the Flight Radar 24, which tracks and records aircraft data for most flights across the USA, showed the helicopter's last estimated altitude, twice that, at above 400 feet when it crashed into the jet. The jet's altitude was about 375 to 400 feet, according to data from FlightAware and Flight Radar 24. So we're seeing the helicopters. This is the liner coming along here, and the helicopter is, where is it? Let's put it right. The jet's between 375 to 400 feet, and the helicopter's height was 400 feet. So the jet's coming down, and the helicopter's come down with it and flew straight into it. While the warrant officer by the side of her is saying, "Turn, turn, turn." But she wouldn't. Former President Biden's White House aide, Captain Rebecca Lobach, is identified as a lesbian and frequent visitor to the White House, and questions are being asked, was she an appointee under the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion rules? Well, it seems so, doesn't it? The military pilots, they're familiar with the routes, Mr. Fetch said. That's that chief safety officer. Why is it on that day, on that flight, they were as much as 150 to 200 feet higher than they knew they should be? Why, especially why, when the warrant officer is sitting next to her saying, lower your altitude, turn, but she flew. She didn't turn. She didn't drop down to the proper height, the regulation height. She didn't turn left to avoid the aircraft. She went straight into it. She flew straight into it. What was going on in her mind? Did she deliberately fly into it, killing her passengers and the passengers of the passenger jet? Or was she so pig-headed that she thought, a man's not going to tell me what to do, telling me to turn, I'm going to carry on? We don't know, yes, do we? And of course, everybody's dead. What they've got is the recordings in the aircraft and in the helicopter, the Black Hawk helicopter, and what can we say? We don't know. But it was obviously, and it's been concluded, it was a pilot error. Was it an error or was it deliberate? Maybe we'll find out sometime. But at the moment, we're not going to find out, are we? But I'll keep you up to date when I hear more news on it. It is an important thing because we're hearing so much of killings and terrorism. Was she a terrorist? Who knows? So be safe, be good, and I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you again soon.